Hey everybody, it's Rob from Flailthroughs. This is Gundam Battle Operation 2, and this is a guest video from Salty Walty. Double feature, in fact, one from each side of this week's PSN situation battle. The Battle of Baoa, or I believe in Japan it's titled with the same name as the second to last episode of Gundam, the Space Fortress of Baoa. So, yeah, it is in the Space Fortress interior, and a decent, very standard, I'd say, a lineup of things, with like one exception to what was seen in the original animation on each side. The Federation side that Salty is on has the Gundam, gun tank, and gun cannon, so we're going with TV version here, as well as a standard gym and the Gym Kai that Salty is using. Zeon side has the Zeon, a Gelgoog, a Rickdom, a Zaku, and the Bishop. So it's not a bad lineup, and yeah, they definitely did need a support of some kind in there. Looks like both sides are just generals and supports. That's not terrible. But yeah, to be honest, I can't. Oh, good quick turn there. I'm still not good at those after all these years. I'm not sure what kind of raid you could put on the Federation side that would make sense, honestly. But regardless, so far so good. Salty took out the Gelgoog. He's working on the Bishop now, which is a good thing to have out of the way, because, yeah, a ranged support with that kind of remote weaponry, not a great thing to be having shooting at your team. Right now, Salty's team is doing really well, so enemy team's starting to catch up a little bit, but that, there's back and forth, obviously. Salty's team won the first wipe, so the enemy team gets to come back fresh, but I think right now the biggest issue facing the Federation side is they're just a little bit less coordinated than Zeon side. I feel like Zeon is bunching up and focusing fire a little bit better so far. But, yeah, Salty, however, is doing just fine, because, yeah, with basically everyone trying to shoot him, and he's managed to survive this long, which is pretty decent. And let's see. Oh yes, and also just something that I keep forgetting about the situation battles myself, so I'll mention in case... Oh, good kill on the Zeon. I'll mention it in case it's of use to anybody else. Before you do these situation battles, make sure that all the mobile suits you could possibly get dropped into have their quick swaps set up on all possible levels, because if you don't have that, you're going to end up in something that is maybe not set up in whatever way you've decided for yourself is optimal. So that's especially an issue with the Zeon, which has a lot of weapons. So yeah, that's just something. Gun tank is one that probably has more weapons than the 4 cardinal slots as well. So yeah, those are two good ones to make sure you have set up on every level at least. But let's see, because I forget what I kept getting in last week's situation battles, but it was something I did not have the quick swaps set up for the level I was running, and it was just a little bit harder than it needed to be. I may still have one of those videos. I don't know. But I have managed to get some requests done, which will be showing it sometime in the near future. So I'm glad I've finally been able to get some more done. I did get a little bit fixated on the buffs for December, and November and December, and I apologize for that. But to be totally honest, just there's stuff in there that I really like that I have not run in forever, or just ran quite a bit, and was really happy with the changes with the standard Gelgood, which is on the Zeon side here, with its new shock grenades, is really great for like cramped spaces on ground levels where everyone's like fighting melee. You can toss that into a melee fight and do a lot of damage to an enemy suit that's stuck in one position fighting off one of your allies. Let's see. Looks like that Bishop was not quite able to turn fast enough to take advantage of Salty having 200 hit points, and yeah, the Gym Kai is fast enough, he is just perpetually behind it. And yeah, doing a good job of staying that way too, which is not easy. Let's see. It looks like he got the bishop just as the Rick Dom got him. Is that the case? Yes, it is. So yeah, so far really good. They've got a pretty significant lead, but things aren't over yet. So, but yeah, I played a couple rounds in this situation battle, and I enjoy it well enough, but I wasn't getting anything like particularly fantastic with it. So, and Salty had some rounds for me, so I said sure. But yeah, yeah, so far have not rolled the Unicorn Awakened. Have not gotten a round I like with the Bianca Atlas either, but I was able to. Turns out the game thinks I've never been A+ on my Japanese account, so I'm having to grind back up to A+ to reach Major General, which I'm not feeling, which I'm kind of frustrated by, but I'm just waiting for 400 Qs and running early production Gelgoog. And yeah, so yeah, his melee spacing here has been really good. Like a three-dimensional melee is kind of tricky, but if you're good at managing your elevation, you can do quite a bit. You can hit people from angles they will never possibly expect, like that. Just like sometimes that is the way you find out exactly where somebody is above you. It's definitely a thing to be on the receiving side of. But I feel like that is like the one thing in space that I'm fairly good at, is knowing my melee spacing. Because yeah, if you're, you can still land a lot of good hits if you're significantly above or below somebody. And yeah, assuming I'm sure everything has gotten stat boosts, as usually happens for situation battles, but the standard Gelgoog is pretty weak to melee attacks, so that's a good thing to be focusing on when you're confronted with it in this battle. And Zeon is down as well. Yeah, they have got this. They have got this dead to rights. But yeah, so I'm just waiting for 400 Qs in rated to so I can use the early production Gelgoog. With the new with that new ranged enhancement part, that beam rifle packs even a little bit more of a punch than it used to. And believe it or not, the level 1 early production Gelgoog is something I had never actually maxed out in the hangar prior to now. So yeah, it is significantly stronger for me now than it was. But yeah, I can't say that I've been super enjoying it, because it's rated and every loss is a setback that can basically invalidate a fair amount of work. But I'm making my way through. It's slow progress, but definitely keeping me in good Gelgoog practice, if nothing else. So yeah, that is a solid win for Salty's side. 134,000 damage into Jim Kai, 9-1. Very nice. All right, next up we are going to see what he can do in a Zeon. All right, here we go. In a way, I kind of wish that this had been done on one of the exterior stages, because the Gundam and the Gelgoog didn't really do a lot of fighting inside of a Baoa. I mean, just enough to blow each other up, but yeah, that's not really something you're going to replicate here too much. I think, yeah, the waist guns Salty is charging are basically the most powerful single shots on the thing, as you can see from the damage they do. The charged handguns might be a little stronger, depending. But, well, going by that, if all the beams hit, not quite. But, yeah, as you can see, the Zeon is, like I said, it has a lot of weapons. It is worth setting up the quick swaps on every level of it you own, just to make sure that you have got the right one. And yeah, that gun tank is basically despite the fact that the Zeon's a general and that gun tank has type advantage, that's a terrible matchup for the poor gun tank, because yeah, just the Zeon is so fast. You saw what happened. He ran rings around it. And, Space Gun Tank is understandably a little clunky, as it probably should be. It's something that did happen in the series. They replaced it with a second gun cannon in the movie version, which makes a little more sense, I think, but also just Space Gun Tank is still fun to have, honestly. I'm still disappointed that the GF tank does not turn into a tank in space. It also apparently has a jet mode, I've been told, which it can't do at all yet. I say yet because they've been pretty good in the past about doing these things, adding these functions to suits that did not launch with them. The double Zeta being my favorite example because it could not transform when it first joined the game. Still hoping that one day they figure out a good way to do the Baoa's transformation. I feel like for the GF tank, the best way to do it, if they wanted to give it the tank and jet modes, disable a tank mode in space, I guess, but let it jet, and then in the ground, just make it turn into jet mode if you transform while jumping, let's say. Something like that. But there's got to be a way to do it. But, okay, good punches there on that gun cannon. And got an assist on something else. And, yep, the spot gun is a good choice to finish that off, and it is finished. And, yeah, like I said, the waist gun's really good. They are good and strong. I believe they have to be charged to fire. So that is, it's a weakness, but it's something that can very much be worked around, especially with all the other guns that the Zeon has. Zeon was one of the first Psychomu units added to the game that could actually have other weapons going when it fired its remote Psychomu weapons. Like the hands are the wired weapons, so you can't use your main weapons or your melee or your main ranged weapon while they are out. But you can still use the waist guns. You can still use the beam gun in the head. So, yeah, it was not particularly. Like I said, that it was the first thing to have that skill. Both the Bishop and the Zaku Psychomu test type both were something that their only methods of attack were in those hands, so there was nothing else you could do. But, okay, so far they are they've got a really strong lead once again, and yeah, Salty's doing a really good job of just keeping the weapons going. Just there's always basically something you can be doing with the Zeon's weapons, and I've found juggling them really difficult, but he is doing it very naturally here. Just like I said, just keeping up constant offense, and that is one of the benefits of Psychomu units like this. You can be keeping up constant offense while also standing behind a pillar so you're not getting shot like he was doing right there. And that is the gun tank down. And let's see. Yep, there is one of the gyms. Yeah, good time to pull back a little bit. They are trying to push, so. And yeah, lock-on range is, pretty solid, of course. And I'm saying "and" a lot tonight. Sorry about that, but good shots there. Yeah, perfect time to lock on just as it retreats back towards its allies, as you can see. Zeong's hands have piercing, so the remote weapons will hit multiple targets if somebody is grouped well with their allies. I think the hands technically only do that when charged as a main weapon, but almost every Psychomu weapon in existence that has a beam, that fires beams pierces. So, and yeah, piercing again, especially when you're firing like so many small beams, just very, very valuable, because you can just get all kinds of collateral damage. Like that was 3 different hits. So yeah, a couple of minutes left. This is kind of verging on slaughter here, but it is definitely a solid round. And again with "and." Oh well, brain. But yeah, one thing during my rated match grind that worked out particularly well is I had something that is probably the first time I've had it happen in the entire 6.5 years I've played this game. Somebody used the tell system to like successfully coordinate a winning round. Ooh, good damage there. They managed to get the team to it was 400 trenches, and they managed to get the team to capture all the checkpoints and push the enemy back to their base. And yeah, managed to win by a very, very big margin. It was pretty similar score-wise to this round here. So yeah, it was a good, strong win, and just yeah, like I'm sure we've all had the experience of the person who thinks they're coordinating the team, and really are just getting it to the point where people ignore tells entirely, and that just leads to chaos and disappointment. But this person, yeah, was on the ball, and yeah, actually steered us in a really good direction. So I don't like that is a very basic system of the game that I use every day, and I think that's the first time I have ever seen anybody use it like as intended. It was really impressive. I saved that round. I don't know if or how I'm going to run it, but I'm thinking about it. But yeah, Salty's team absolutely has this round locked down, and yeah, they're ending a little bit north of 2-1, but yeah, that's it's a good situation battle. Again, I'd love to see a version of this in open space as well, just because that's where most of the Gundam and Zeon fight was. But yeah, Salty had a great round, and we have got, yep, swept the board. 180,000 damage, 820. A no-death Zeon round. Very nice. So that is going to do it for today's Gundam Battle Operation 2. Thank you again, Salty. I really appreciate you sending these my way. And until next time, everybody take care and have fun. Later. So I wouldn't say I get overly focused on GBO2 related things sometimes, but to be totally honest, the fact that the update was a day early really just kind of tossed a wrench in my week. Just made everything feel weird and off, off kilter. I'm not a person who keeps a really, really strict schedule, but just, yeah, that just really kind of threw me for a loop for some dumb reason.